and then we'll get started in just a couple of moments. So good evening, welcome. What I wanted to do was to start the whole event with a big yippee, but so once that's out of the way, now I can proceed with some dignity and welcome to this amazing event. Thank you for coming to recognize the impact of this historic program, the JID, JD, and thank you all for coming to celebrate with our first graduating class. This is just so amazing. I'd like to now ask Maggie Charlie, on behalf of the Chief and Council of Songhees, to come up and welcome us to the territory.
Ai squachel hela, ai quanis quanana hela, asa tsisikia, cha'athlison at Laquangan, ai quin stachel at the elo anuk at Laquangan, tasiquilton tanaman, tasa etla at Laquangan, lewis danat anatan, tasalea at Wathathlip, So good day, everyone. It's good to see you all here today. I would like to recognize Chief Eugene Hart, Deputy Minister Marianne Nui, Chief Tanya Jimmy, Chief Fred Robbins, and former Chief Dave Billy, sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Welcome to the homelands of the Laquangan people. On behalf of Songhees Nation, we offer our sincere congratulations to all the 2022 grads of the University of Victoria's Indigenous Law Degree Program. Not only are you the first class, but you are also the first students in the world to complete this education. We admire your determination and dedication, and we are very proud of you all. We wish you all the best, and we are excited to see the difference you will all make in the world. Haishkasiam.
Thank you so much, Margaret. I'd now like to invite Elder Kathy LaFortune to come up with and join us for to lead the opening prayer.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome. I'm Kathleen Horn LaFortune, and we're from Tsaot in the Wasanich territory. I'm of Nuu-chah-nulth heritage. My family is from Potchidot in Port Renfrew and Sishot in Port Alberni. But me and my husband have been married and living in Wasanich. That's Tsaot for our marriage, so thank you very much. I'd like to raise my hands to each and every one of you today to come and celebrate a new beginning, a new life for so many communities, so many beautiful young people that took the courage and the strength to graduate from this historic program for our peoples. As I raise my hands to our Creator, thanking Him for each and every person that came today, for each and every graduate and their families that came in support of them. Place a blessing on each of them as they carry on with their journey of their new degrees of Indigenous law. Such a victory for each and every one of our communities to have all these beautiful blessings upon us. So thank you, Creator. Thank you for bringing everyone together and safely to celebrate such a wonderful occasion. Haichka.
Thank you, Margaret and Kathy, for starting us off in such a beautiful way. So before we continue with the program, I'd like to remind everyone that unless we're sitting at the tables, we do have to wear the masks. And that's part of the requirement for the community here, so we want to take it seriously. And you'll see at your tables there are note cards, and we'd like to invite you to write a message to the students or perhaps a reflection. And so the cards are there should these thoughts or messages come to you. There's a drop box at the end near the entrance, and you can just put the cards in there on your way out. So thank you again for coming, for joining us. It's wonderful to see so many family, to see faculty, to see staff, everyone coming together with friends. I'd also like to extend a warm welcome to those joining us online. Welcome, everyone. We're honored by many amazing people here this evening, and I want to just name the folks that I have listed here. So Chief Eugene Hart from Shasatsu, Innu First Nation, welcome. Deputy Grand Chief Mary Ann Nui from the Innu Nation, Chief Fred Robbins, ex-academic, and former Chief Dave Bellio from Escatamick, Councillor Margaret Charlie, who from Songhees, Kathy LaGrange from Songhees, and Chief Tanya Jimmy. We have Elder Doug LaFortune, and we also have, seated up near the front here, we have Senator Mary Jane McCallum from Manitoba, welcome. Carolyn Bennett, Minister of Mental Health and Addictions and Associate Minister of Health. Kevin Murdoch, Mayor of Oak Bay, and we have Karen Harper, Acting Mayor of Saanich. So welcome, all of you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being here. I'd like to now share a couple of messages from people who have been our champions and they weren't able to be here to join us. So first, Honorable Mary Simon, Governor General of Canada, shares this message. Now, while I'm reading her note, if you could just imagine her very gracious voice as she's doing this. I am pleased to convey my warmest greetings and heartfelt congratulations to the very first alumni of UVic's Joint Degree Program in Canadian Common Law and Indigenous Legal Orders. We all have essential roles to play in shaping a bright future to which we aspire, and it's crucial that we strive to learn from each other and work together while respecting our differences in opinions and cultures. The skills you've acquired over the past 4 years have prepared you for many of the challenges that await you in this ever-changing world. In and of itself, Fulfilling your goal of graduating from the university is a great achievement. You have had to face many challenges, and including all of the uncertainties of the pandemic. Still, you've demonstrated remarkable resilience and determination by engaging successfully in this groundbreaking program. Your tireless efforts have paid off, and your success certainly belongs to you. But it also represents a collective victory, another important step in solidifying Indigenous rights, and renews the hopes of so many of us on the road to reconciliation. You have so many reasons to be proud. Enjoy the celebrations and look ahead with confidence. So that's Mary Simon. And we also have a message from our UVic Law alumni and new Chancellor, Marion Buller. So for this, imagine her powerful voice. So, although I cannot be with you in person, today I am with you in spirit. I extend my warm congratulations to each and every member of the first graduating class in the JID program. Not only have you completed a new precedent-setting program, you've done so in very challenging times. Well done. Of course, I acknowledge that you've had help along the way. So I extend my heartfelt congratulations to your families and to your friends, the faculty and staff who've supported you. I hope you will use your knowledge to make the much needed changes that we, both Indigenous and non-Indigenous, so desperately need. I look forward to meeting you at convocation and giving you your new JID law degree. So that's Marion Buller. So on the way here, driving over here from another part of Victoria, there was a hailstorm, there was rain, there was sleet, there was sunshine, there was everything you could imagine, and it felt like I lived that whole 4 years again in the flash of that drive on the way here. So it's been a journey. And so I want to just think about that journey a little bit that began 4 years ago. But we also know that the journey for Indigenous peoples has been going on from long before. And we've seen journeys of strength, of survival, and as recounted by Justice and Senator and now Chancellor Murray Sinclair through the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, what we're all engaged in is a continuing journey of triumph and recovery and rebuilding. And that's the work that all of you and all of us are doing. The students joined this big journey, and we're here to celebrate them, all of them today. So I now have the opportunity to introduce my amazing colleague, Dr. John Burrows, internationally renowned champion of this program. John had a dream a long time ago. In Cree and Anishinaabe law, we share dreams. We're obligated to tell the dreams and to learn from them. John shared his dream with Jeremy Weber and many other peoples who joined the dream and built this program. So, John, please join us.
Buju na dinwe makani dog ni jinish nabeg ni chmadasig giginos and gijnakas nigigan dodem amigwechbe jaig nongum. I'm so thrilled that we're all here to recognize the great accomplishment of these students and to recognize the efforts that we've all been involved in to help them succeed it really is our dream that they'll continue to take what they've learned and to be of service to those around them, and also to find happiness and joy in the way that they work. I'm so grateful for Val's leadership and all that she's doing here as acting dean, and this program would have not happened without her. And she's really at the center of so much of what we're celebrating today. But I do want to remember 27 years ago, sitting at the Native Law Center in Saskatchewan with Harold Cardinal and Trish Montour and Sakesh Henderson and myself, saying, wouldn't it be wonderful if somewhere in this land Indigenous law was taught? And having that conversation sparked a lot of innovation as we went from place to place and gathered other ideas and other people's dreams to be able to bring to pass what you see today. It is the case that if we could see our ancestors joined with us today, that we would know that we're a part of something that is generational. And if we can see those yet unborn who will benefit from what is happening here today, we would see a breadth that we can't even contemplate. And I'm thankful for people who have made this possible to be able to stand at this moment. When I started teaching over 30 years ago at the University of Victoria, I remember my mother came from the reserve and joined me at the new First Peoples House there, and she cried because she had to run away from school when she was young, because residential school was sweeping all of her family up into that system. And so she went and picked tobacco in Tillsonburg, Ontario, and then worked down in Oakville in the fields there. And she cried that there would be such a thing as a beautiful house of learning on a campus. And now here we are with Indigenous law being accepted as formally a part of what our laws are in this country, the standards, principles, and criteria by which we make our decisions, the spirit and the strength and the heart by which we will deal with one another in goodness. I'm so thankful for everyone and the work that you've done to make these dreams come true, and we look forward to continuing to support the students as they take their work and help other people's dreams come through. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kigadant. I'd now like to welcome Kul Siyamat, Robina Thomas, to come up and share some words. Robina is the Vice President Indigenous at UVic.
Asiamna Siayu, dear friends and relatives, Siamna Sulquain, to the respected elders, dignitaries, chiefs, councillors, senators, ministers, mayors, Haitsapka, thank you so much for being here today. Aichwell. Koltsiamat Tanasne. My name is Koltsiamat. My English name is Robina Thomas. Tanitsin Layaksin. Snanemo Stalo. I'm a member of Layaksin First Nation through marriage, but my roots, who I am as a human being, the things that matter to me, the lessons I've been taught, are through my grandmother, who was Snanemo, Lavina Wise, the second youngest of Joe and Jenny Wise. And my grandfather was Charles Prest from Stalo territory. I want to say Haitsapka thank you to the Lekwungen Mistimo for allowing us to be here tonight for this momentous event. I raise my hands to you for always allowing the work that we do at the university to take place on your traditional lands. I think a responsibility that matters deeply to me and something that I'm committed to every day of my life. And last, just Sepka, thank you all for being here. What a privilege it is for me to be here today to hold up the students, the first graduating JID, JD graduating class. It's truly an honor to be asked to witness this event, and it's comforting knowing that we have 23 grads that understand the critical importance of Indigenous ways, or as we would say in Coast Salish territory, our Snowild. Our laws are rich with teachings that not only tell us how to govern our lands, our people, and all things on the earth, but they're there to guide us and direct us to be the best human beings that we can possibly be. As I drove here today, I was thinking about the Salelu, our ancestors, those that have gone before us, and I was wondering what they might be thinking. I was thinking about my late Auntie Helen Kamai from Lekwungen, and I know that she would be saying, "It's about time. You finally got it right." I was thinking about my grandmother who would say, "I never thought I would witness this," and she didn't, but I did, her granddaughter. I was thinking about the many other ancestors that are just dancing with pride today. And so I want to acknowledge that. And you know, we're taught, Thikwan Salelu, remember your birthright, remember your ancestors. And I think that for me, that is the core of what we're celebrating today. The other teaching that I really thought about when I was driving here was Thikwan Kwaseyas, to remember the work to come. And I think about my late Auntie Ellen White telling me, it's not about you, it's about those coming behind you. And so what brings me so much comfort is knowing that we have graduates that are prepared for the work to come. And we know that these are governing systems, legal orders that will be passed on to generation. And there are so many events over our life where we've tried to displace those teachings. We've tried to stop those teachings. And what an example we have today that that is not going to happen. In closing, I was reminded again about it takes a village to raise a child. And I was thinking it also takes a village to raise a student. And I would be remiss if we didn't just take a minute to acknowledge our villages, our family, our friends, our loved ones, and the faculty and staff, your colleagues that have been there for you from the beginning. I think often, when I finished my degrees, that I thought that my family deserved the degrees as much as I did because they had to give up so much. They forego so much to support us to be successful. And so I thought about that a lot. I also really thought that today I would be remiss not to acknowledge the law faculty. Each and every one of you who dared to dream to make this program possible. I raise my hands to each and every one of you today with the deepest of respect. Haitsepka. Amazing, or what we would say, sacred, awesome. Again, congratulations, and I just really encourage you to remember to take some time to celebrate and to acknowledge your awesomeness. We often just carry on, but please stop, even for a moment, and acknowledge how incredible that you are. Thank you for allowing me to be here, for witnessing the first JID graduates in the world. Isn't that wonderful? Like, it's so awesome to say that. What a privilege. Just thank you for allowing me to witness this event, and have a wonderful evening.
Thank you so much. So we have a number of things that are lined up this evening, and just before getting into that, I realized I was remiss. I was so excited to introduce everyone else, I didn't introduce myself. Oh man, the hostess with the mostest. Okay, so I'm Val Napoleon. I'm the acting dean of the Faculty of Law. I'm Cree from Soto First Nation in Northeast British Columbia, and I'm an adopted member of the House of Lujan, where I hold the name Giaksgan. So we have now time to open the table, and I would like to invite Swatsdizia May Sam to come and open the table for us.
Oh, wow, it's so beautiful out there. Hi, Tzka, Val, and Ruth, Diane, Faculty of Law. Hi, Tap. I'm going to do the blessing, and my traditional name is Swatstisia from Malachat, where I was born, and my English name is May. I always tell the little children, it's not April, it's May. I like to say that to the little ones. No. But I'm so proud to be up here. It was just, so wonderful. I was there a few times with your class, and then the COVID hit, and it just blocked everything. But I know that with recording through Zoom, to be with you and send blessings. So I'm going to do the blessing for the floor, the blessing for the table, and the blessing for the meal that we share as we sit together and become one and sharing a wonderful meal and a wonderful evening. So proud of each and every one. I call you my children, my babies, coming to school. Like you, I cradle you and just really hug you and pray for you every day and every night, that you're doing well in your classes. Having the candle on at home for you every day and every night, for the staff too, and family, extended family. So I say the blessing first in Halkamenam. My first language in the first 6 or 7 years of my life, before I was sent to school, a day school, to learn English. And I truly believe in saying the prayer in Halkamenam first and then translate it for you. A blessing for the table, a blessing for the cooks, a blessing for all our volunteers, my family here that is helping, the escorts, each and every one. Hi Tapa, Chnemics Nask Man, say Timanas, say Tisander Spray, Sladom Stay. Masi, hi Shatital Siam, hi Shka, and Lilum, eat, na, Lugon, Swimatel. Hi Shatital Siam, the Mug Isley, Tital Namat, Naskoyo. Hi Taka, the Mug, the Theans Yais, because Lalim at the Mugs Lickers, hi Shka. Nes de graag en stil naast het kwijt, die kwam komst dus in scholen. Kwam komst immers eten en graag en tamog massie heitsch de titels die heitsch. O, ze is toch altijd lekkerst, kus nem immers niet hai, kus school kost toch heitsch de titels die. I praise and I thank the Creator for a beautiful day, a blessing for each and every one for this evening, a special occasion for each and every one of my dear ones with the graduation. Complete your work, your education, as you carry on in your journey. I pray for you in your future. I prayed for this beautiful building, and I prayed for each and every one, the escorts and the cooks, and also for the staff. Hi. Masi hai chretitsasiam. Jechumi slachens durch the mug, the chachens do will. I ask the Creator to bless each and every one here today. A blessing for those that are not here, that couldn't make it here. Send blessings to them also. Haishka, Kunemaksnas, man, say to manas. To Sonder Spray, Slaughters Day, Haishka. I always conclude, I love you. Remember that. Haishka.
So the elders will be served first, and then the tables will be called out. So listen for the number of your table, and then you can go and get the food. So enjoy and celebrate.
So I'm going to do closing prayer and a blessing for the wonderful meal we've shared, and to give thanks for the cooks, the volunteers, and families that all came together to be with your loved ones today. And those of you, you know, there's a lot of food. Even though closing the table doesn't mean you stop eating, you carry on eating. And I know I seen on the that there's dessert too later. So that I have to close the table to carry on with this event tonight. And again, Heitzka, Knemix Nask Man, say, Timanas, say, Tisanders Praise, Laudum Stay, Masi, Heitzka, Titel Siem, Heitzka, the Kachans, Altanet, Nais, Quail, Heitzka, the Mogni, Ayas, Light, is Altan, Noah, say, Zechumis, Lachans, Duka, the Kachans, Dew, Masi, Heitzka, Titel Siem. Heitzka, the Kachan, Lilum, Kusi, Titel Namat, Mug, Nas Quail, Hai tapga. Hai tref chachans alten. Titel seam. No see tichumi dezuatol. Lalamatol we slachenstol. Nasi o east to call the mugs liquor. I praise and I thank the Creator for a blessing for today, for each and every one here, for the event, for the graduates today. A special time for our dear ones today, and I praise and I give thanks for each and every one that made it here. I ask the Creator for a blessing for the table, a blessing for the meal that we have shared, the wonderful meal, and also to give thanks for the cooks that prepared the meal for us. So remember to carry on eating and don't stop. There's lots of food. Heitzka, Knemix Nask, Man, say, Timanas, hey, Tisander Spray, Slaughter Stay, Heitzka.
Thank you so much, May. We're going to start the second portion of our program this evening, which is the student recognition, celebrating with the students. And to host this part of the program, I'd like to invite Al Sam up.
At this time, I'd like to ask the graduating students to come forward and stand with the host family.
Been doing this graduate, big, water, welcome to Squallen, Tower, and Flip Squallen, to be Mitchell, Sweat the Eyes, Street. I want to thank every one of your neighbors, times, our students. The times our students will so much like Anthony was saying, years, 4 years, or how many years they need to get through, to complete, to get this far. You know, at a lot of our time, we've been struggling. Might be our own schooling at school, or it might be being lonely, missing siblings, missing parents, grandparents, whether all the ones that have had being the support. Sometimes it's a husband, sometimes it's a wife, sometimes it's your own children, supporting graduates. For all these years they've been working to get what they needed done. So we really thank all that support, every one of you who's been here supporting. A lot of you have traveled this way. You don't know how far you've traveled from, but it means a lot to the graduates just to see your face here in this kind of a support. So again, that part of our cultural part that we always do. We still do this in our open fire big house. All our ceremonies that had been trying to be taken away from us. Governments have tried to take all of our stuff. Some of our language we lost for a while, but resilience, get our language back, we made it. So it's that kind of a support to all of you being once more, which carry on as part of our ceremony. So see it, Carla, and Shahil it all. Ay, Pastana, Igum, Nawanansa, Eset, Lewat. Happy the fortune, Igum, Nawanansa, Eset, Lewat. Forgot one thing. Matia was Titia, the Tiet Quachqualawan, Sulaman, the Steelish Qualawan, Walk at the Morquet, before Enaman, Quachqualawan, the Lelamatus, the Mor Sufton, the Latin of the Sufton, the Thought of the Lelamatus, Students, Uvic, Sophia Thomas, and thank you. So much appreciation when we have gatherings. We try our best not to forget all those that participated in a lot of this cultural part. And May been there for so long, helping students. Some might be hurting, some might be lonely. She's always been there to work and help them physically or mentally, spiritually. She's always been there. And she has a blessing for our meal this evening. So I really wanted to can't leave her out and thank her for that part. Thank you. Following how we're gonna get our graduates ready so you can all make your way to the boardroom.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Eugene Tam, and I got my sister here beside me, Christine Tam. I'd like to thank each and every one of you here for being here to celebrate our graduates tonight. I'm just going to do a quick little introduction of the songs that we did. The first song that we did was our paddle welcome song, and we used that song to welcome visitors to our territory. And tonight, that's what we'd like to do. We'd like to welcome each and every one of you here tonight to honor our dear graduates. And the second song that we did was our girls song, which we used that song to honor the women in our lives. And I thought it'd be a good fit to honor the lady graduates as well. So I raised my hand to each and every one of you at this time, and thank you for having us be here partaking in the event.
Just before we finish up, I'd love to thank the graduates for taking the ceremony into your heart. You guys have worked endlessly to make today happen, and it really shows in each and every one of our faces here today that we're all very proud of each and every one of you standing on the blanket in the most complete of you today. You guys are our future. You guys have hold so much knowledge that can be passed down for generations. So I encourage you guys all to never give up on yourself or give up on our youth, never give up on our elders. We all need each other. So thank you for humbly taking in our teachings, our culture, our song. So thank you again for you, Vic, for having us here today and to be able to share a song, to be able to uplift each and every one of us here, because it's always a great, humble, and an honor to be able to sing and represent our nation as well. And we look forward to seeing everyone again. And we look forward to seeing you guys on your journey. So I've had a lot of this and having you further into your future. Bye, Jessia.
A lot of cultural parts probably up and down BC, coast of BC, maybe across Canada and some places. You always hear that a lot of our songs is called a paddle song. This means our graduates, this paddle song is honoring, start paddling, keep moving forward. So they're going to be still moving forward for a lot of things that maybe who might need them for whatever. As long as they just keep moving forward, what things they still need to do. So this is an explanation for a part of the paddle song. We hear the paddle song all the time. We never give up, we keep moving forward. We've got Kakia, the Naya Penny, going to be helping out with their part of the work.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome. Entha Satachia. My name is Sarah Morales. I am one of the faculty members who've had the privilege of teaching your loved ones over the past 4 years. We've asked the students to submit remarks, and I am honored to read them on their behalf. Jolene Ashini. Keep in mind, these are from their voices, so sometimes I'll be reading them in the first person or the third person, depending on their writing preference. Thank you to the Indigenous peoples, the rightful caretakers and landowners of this territory we are on today, and the land that the University of Victoria sits on. You have given up so much for us to learn on and from your lands. To our educators, throughout these 4 years, the professors, the administrators, and most importantly, the Indigenous knowledge holders and keepers who have shared their teachings with us. Thank you to John Olthius, Nancy Clear, and Maggie Wente for seeing more in me than I have seen in myself. Also to the Innu leadership and Innu communities of Sheshuju and Natwashi. You've inspired me to take care of our people. Our members have lifted me up higher than I could have ever asked for. I am humbled and privileged to be Innu. Thank you to my friends and most importantly to my family, especially those of you who could not be here today. My mother and sister and niece Aubrey, you keep me grounded and safe. To my partner Josh, you have accepted and applauded my future and career with open arms. And finally, thank you to my father. He, along with other Innu leaders who have also since passed, had begun the fight against the injustices that the Innu face, a fight that he had passed down to me after his death. Caitlin Beal. Caitlin would like to acknowledge and thank her communities of Penelakut, Secum, and Cowichan. As a Coast Salish woman, being part of this program in Coast Salish territory has meant a lot to her, and she has strived throughout the past 4 years to honor her relations in her learning journey. There are a few people she would especially like to acknowledge. First, her grandparents, Lexi and James Charlie. As day school survivors, she is so grateful for their strength and resiliency to pass on their teachings and also always support her throughout her educational journey. Her dad, Jim, for passing on his strong work ethic, her paddling sisters for their support, especially after the passing of her mom. Tanya, the chief of Secum, for always supporting her ability to go to school and work. Her partner and JP for their love and laughter. As she transitions to the next stage of her journey, she will continue to work with and for her communities to advocate for positive change for all her relations. Carolyn Bello. Carolyn hopes to provide excellent legal services to the interior part of British Columbia, focusing on shaping Indigenous laws for Indigenous communities, building more opportunities for economic opportunities for Indigenous entrepreneurs, as well as providing more access to justice in rural areas where she grew up near Williams Lake. She acknowledges the people she met in her cohort who made her law school experience amazing and wonderful. She would also like to thank her parents, family, and community for their love and continued support. Beth Fox. Congratulations to my classmates on their achievements. It has been difficult work and I am proud to have made it through with you. I hope you all take some time left to let the gravity of your accomplishments sink in and enjoy this night of celebration. I wish you all the best and look forward to hearing about your careers and work as lifelong learners. I want to acknowledge the families, friends, and communities of the graduates for their support, patience, and kindness throughout these 4 years. I know many people have made sacrifices for the students in their life to access the privilege of education. In closing, I want to thank the professors, UVic staff, and communities for making this program possible. I have seen countless examples of folks going above and beyond the duties of their job to support this work. I believe this program has the potential to create transformational change for Indigenous peoples and cannot thank all those involved enough. Sam Geistifer. Thank you to the Songhees Nation on whose land we are gathered and who are our hosts tonight, and to my parents, Andrew and Joan, for supporting me in so many ways to grow and become the person that I am. To my Oma, Amy, for all the lessons she has shared with me since she passed. To my friends gathered with me, both in the building and from afar, thank you for holding me and bearing witness to my growth. Thank you for your patience with me and your willingness to share. Thank you to all of those gathered here for sharing in this special moment. Thank you to the faculty and staff for the support you have given us all and for the invitation to join this program. It is a true honor to have shared space with you, and I will do my utmost to honor my obligations that extend out from that invitation. Elizabeth High Turner. I would like to thank the Lekwungen peoples for hosting the program and the First Nations who hosted us during the field schools. I would also like to thank the dedicated faculty as well as my fellow students for an unequaled educational experience that I will never forget. Special thanks to my partner and 4 sons, whose love and support has helped me so much through these past 4 years. Thomas Hawthorne Thwaite. First of all, I'd like to thank my mom and dad. They're here right now, and I'm probably looking at them while this is being read, so pretend this is coming directly from me. You both supported me, guided me, and helped shape me into who I am today, and I am forever thankful for that. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you, literally and figuratively, so thank you. Next, I'd like to thank my professors, who not only taught me a new way to look at the world and how it can be meaningfully applied in the future, but did so with a level of kindness and passion that I have never seen through my previous education, and I hope to one day echo that in the future. I know the future cohorts are in the best hands they could be. Finally, I'd like to thank my cohort. You have all been so thoughtful, generous, supportive, and strong, and it has been an honor to get to know all of you over the years. I can't fathom a better set of individuals to be tossed into the deep end with. You each carry qualities that are nothing less than inspiring, and I know you all have amazing futures ahead. I'm going to miss you, but I know as we all pursue our lives in new places, this is only goodbye for now. Thank you for being who you are. You made these years truly special. Kayla Heath. I think the most impactful thing to me was getting to experience meaningful learning in really profound places. There was something very special about land-based learning that is hard to describe in words alone. You can feel the essence of a place. On our last day of field school in Songhees, we took a walk through the forest to learn about the different culturally modified trees that exist throughout. The forest floor was soft and springy under our feet as we walked single file down the trail that was winding through tall trees stretching towards the sunlight. The forest smelled like a delicious bouquet of cedar, mossy branches, budding plants, and the bubbling fresh spring we walked by as we bounced through the trees. We came across trees that had been stripped of their bark in a way that allows them to heal and continue to grow while still providing valuable resources to those who modify them in such a sustainable way. Some of these trees had been modified hundreds of years ago in the past. We were also guided to see a large tree that had been fallen and used for wood planks, not simply trees in the natural landscape. These were reminders of the long-standing relationship that Kwakwakwa people have to this land and this place. On that day, we simply didn't learn about culturally modified trees. We experienced the place where they exist. What a profound and respectful way to learn. I'd like to thank my family, colleagues, and friends for all their support over the past 4 years. Navjot Jasar. I would like to thank my mom for showing me what it means to work hard and make sacrifices for those you love. You are the hardest working person I have ever met and carried our family through so much. Thank you for your dedication to providing us a good life. It is now your time to rest. Thank you to my brother for always being my supporter, even when I made choices that were not easy to understand. You are a wonderful and generous ally. I am forever in reverence of the memory of my grandmothers who taught me to love boldly in response to hate and to raise my voice in the face of injustice without fear. You are all the reason I am here today. I am grateful to my teachers along this journey, both my professors and colleagues. I can't say that it was gentle or graceful, but I'm glad I took the leap. Huge shout out to Zubaydah, who adopted me as a niece and advocated harder than anyone I know for making this institution fair for everyone who entered and probably cried in her office. Through my ancestors, I inherited the spiritual path of Sikhi, and the word Sikh means to learn. This has been an incredibly enriching learning experience, and I am honored to carry the responsibility that comes with this privilege. The gifts I have received here help me envision a future that is worth living for. Caitlin LaFontaine Haight. Caitlin would like to thank her husband, Brendan, for having her back for the last 4 years, as well as her parents, grandparents, and siblings for providing their support and motivation. Thank you to all that made this program possible, including all the professors, UVic law staff, and community members. Skeena Lawson. Thank you to my mom, my dad, and my other family and friends for your unwavering support over the last 4 years. Thank you to all our professors for sharing your passion with us and for the immense care and patience you put into teaching us. And thank you to my classmates who were uniquely able to understand the ups and downs of being in this first cohort and who were there for everything. I feel incredibly lucky and proud to be able to share this with all of you. Colby Lizotte. None of this would have been possible without the love and support of my partner Harley, who put his career on hold so that I could pursue mine. We make a great team, and I can't wait to continue making the world a better place together for our baby Lawrence. I'd also like to thank my mom Cheryl, my dad Greg, my sisters Carly and Josie, and my brother Brody for their support over the years. I have such a wide circle of extended friends, family, friends, and members of my community back home in Fort Vermilion that have always cheered me on. It really takes a village, and this wouldn't have been a reality without all of you. Betty Ann Marcoux. To my fellow graduates, I want to start my speech with a self-reflection quote. Remember one day, a long, long time ago, you set a goal to become a lawyer. Then you accomplished your goal. Today is a reminder of that goal to celebrate and honor our hard work, commitment, and conviction to keep moving forward, even when we felt like quitting. No one said it would be an easy journey to reach our goal, but here we are. So do not ever forget that each of us are a powerhouse of innovation, creativity, and resilience. I know we will push boundaries to make this world a better place, even in small ways for our people. Know that tomorrow is a blank page waiting for you to fill it. Congratulations to each of us on this monumental achievement, and best wishes for a successful legal career. Be proud, be confident, be happy. Cheers to happy endings and new beginnings. Kelty McKetcher. When I think about the work of the last 4 years, I know that it could not have happened without the people I count as my witnesses. They include my guests who are here tonight, as well as my colleagues in the JID program. I honor you all. The kinship you offer me is precious, and I am deeply grateful for the ways in which you have helped me to grow. To my colleagues, congratulations. What an honor to graduate alongside you. I treasure the time we've had together, and I can't wait to see where this journey takes us. To Val and John and everyone who made this education a reality, words cannot express how much it has enriched my life. It is a gift and a responsibility that I hope we will do you proud. Finally, I want to acknowledge my longest running witness, my dad. Thank you, Dad, for being patient with me on my long journey of figuring out what I wanted to be when I grew up. Thank you for teaching me to love words and language, for being proud of me, and for never appearing to tire of reading my essays. And thank you for witnessing not only the work I have done at law school, but the work I have done to care for my mom during these years. I would not have been able to do right by her and do this without your unfailing support. I love you, and I am so grateful for you. Kelsey McNeil. Congratulations to my classmates. It has been a long 4 years, and I am very proud of everyone. And thank you to our professors. It has been a privilege learning from all of you, both in and out of the classroom. Heather Middlemass. Thank you to the Lekwungen peoples of the Esquimalt and Songhees nations for hosting us today. I'd also like to thank our faculty, the Kwakiutl, and the Hulkaminam peoples for their teachings and expertise. This program has been challenging, but it was conducted with great care. Learning from you all has been an honor and a privilege. Thank you to my classmates. The ways in which we have wrapped around one another in moments of learning, celebration, and grief has been a beautiful approach to legal education and work. Thank you to my family. Thank you to my mom, Elena, who taught me to be steadfast while kind. Her strength sustained me through this program. Thank you to my mother-in-law, Val, who taught me to be courageous and thoughtful. Her care brought me over the finish line. Thank you to my sisters, aunties, and grandma. You have been the shelter I could always return to. I want to thank my father, Bruce, who cheered me into this program. I am proud to carry his humor and curiosity into my continued learning and practice. Finally, thank you to my partner, Zach, who should receive an honorary degree at this point. Thank you for creating the space to explore this work with you and for holding me up the entire time. I look forward to putting my learning into practice and carrying with me the obligations created during our time together and in community. Jackie Miller. Good evening, friends, family, teachers, hosts, and witnesses. Thank you to the Songhees Nation for hosting us. I am honored to be with you tonight as we commemorate the graduation of the first cohort of the JID program. I would like to thank John, Val, and others from the Faculty of Law who dreamed the vision for the JID program years ago, bringing that vision into fruition in 2018. I am very humbled by what and how I have learned in this program. I am grateful for the importance of experiential education, relational processes, and critical reflection in the design of the program, and to the professors who have taught us so much. To my classmates, dear cohort, I really appreciate the learning we have done and friendships we have built together, and look forward to seeing the unique and combined ways we will change the legal landscape over the course of our lives. I would also like to acknowledge and thank Miles Richardson for giving me an applied education in Indigenous governance as we have worked together over the last decade. I am honored to have had your support for being in this program over the last 4 years. Finally, I would like to thank my family, and particularly my mom. I am very grateful to be part of this incredible accomplishment we have all achieved together, and to be part of the change we will make in the years to come. Katie Mysack. I'd like to say a big thank you to my incredible peers, as well as to all those who supported and encouraged me throughout this experience, including my 2 dates tonight, my partner Claire and my dad Gary, Claire Bear and Gare Bear. I am a woman lucky to have been raised by brilliant, inspiring women, mothers, grandmothers, and aunties. I've moved through, and I accept this degree with all of them in my heart. I'd like to give a special nod to my aunt, Auntie Bashk, Marlene Starr, who no longer walks this earth, but who would have been so proud of each of us for getting this education. Miigwech for your love, acceptance, and encouragement, Auntie. You are always in my heart. This one's for you. Brendan Noyes. I do not have many words except to say thank you. Firstly, thank you to all who made this opportunity to gather and celebrate our program tonight possible. Your time and effort are appreciated. I am sorry that I cannot be there in person with you all. Thank you to my colleagues. It has been a gift to learn alongside and from you. I will cherish the laughs, gaffes, and big brain moments we shared. Thank you to the professors and staff who made our program possible. Your time and effort have been the driving force behind our experience. Thank you to the Songhees, Esquimalt, and Wasanich peoples in whose territories I have been made to feel a welcome guest throughout my 4 years at UVic. I have grown in my appreciation of these beautiful territories, and in turn grow to appreciate my home territories more deeply. Thank you to the guest speakers, knowledge keepers, and thought leaders who have shared so openly throughout our 4 years. Your generosity has been a significant part of this journey. Finally, thank you to my family and friends / chosen family. I would not be who I am today without your support, guidance, and occasional kick in the pants. Congratulations to all my fellow graduates on completing this challenging, beautiful, sometimes messy, and definitely rewarding experience. I'm excited to hear about the great things that you will do in this world. Thank you and take care. Cody O'Neill. Thank you to all the storytellers in the room who brought this program into being and who continue to believe in it and build on it. Thank you to our professors and field school hosts for sharing your legal genius, laughs, and law with us. Thank you to my classmates for buckling up on this wild ride together and sharing your own teachings along the way. Thank you to my family, partner, and friends for supporting me in my learning with so much kindness and curiosity. Shauna Smith. Thank you to my family, especially my parents, Douglas and Leanne Smith, for teaching me how to love. I love you to the moon and back. To my chosen family, thank you for having patience with me while I disappeared into this wild world of law. To all my teachers and mentors here and a foreign community, your guidance and support has inspired me to continue on this path. I will forever hold in my heart the teachings you have shared and will strive to honor them in how I choose to live each day. Finally, thank you to my colleagues, especially Cosmo, Beto, Bee, Janet, and Stardust, for your laughter and creativity. I look forward to continuing to world worlds with you. Amanda Vick. My favorite moment in the JID program was my first week of classes. When I realized the unique way that I was going to learn the law, I felt both excited for the journey and humbled by the responsibility gifted to me. When I think of field school specifically, my favorite experience was my time spent in Alert Bay. Though it was just an afternoon, I felt a deep appreciation for the space I was invited into. The education that was shared and received within those hours gave me a deep insight and admiration for the laws of the Namgis people. It is an experience I will not forget. I want to thank all the instructors, John, Val, Alan, David, Sarah, Tracy, for correcting me when I was wrong. I know your guidance was an act of love, and I thank you. Thank you to my grandparents, Sadie and Victor Moat. Thank you also to Kelsey Louie. He held me up so high and made the last 4 years easy. Andrea Vogel. I'd like to thank the two birds that gave me life, my parents, Mark and Colleen, who assured me that the never-ending exam seasons would eventually end. Thank you to Jess Ash and everyone at Ilru for your mentorship and taking such good care of us pandemic summer students. To Alan Hanna for his encouragement and supervision of my major paper, and to Deb Curran for her guidance in the ELC and beyond. Thank you to my fellow JID colleagues. It's been an honor to go through 4 years of transformation alongside such brilliant, wise, and feisty people. Special shout out to Ocean Dips with Navjot and to Adventures with the Deep Forest crew. The first inaugural graduating class of the JID program. Congratulations.
able to say, I really want to thank, and then have that list prepared to bring out still part of their wish, sharing all the appreciation, the support they've had over the years. Another applause for them. Catherine LaGrange come forward, and we have something for the students. Brad.
Bonjour and good evening. My name is Catherine LaGrange, and I am the Executive Director for the Songhees Nation. And I'm bringing greetings on behalf of Council, and we wanted to send our congratulations to the graduates this evening, and many thanks to the Lekwungen cultural team for the ceremony this evening. We wanted to give you a little gift, and we have some community books that share the stories of the Songhees Nation and some of the pictures of the community. So they'll be giving out those this evening. So many thanks to everyone for coming this evening, and congratulations. Miigwech.
They come on behalf of the Songhees Nation. Keep repeating myself a bit, the kind of work that I've done. There are times it might have been funerals, but it's the kind of how everybody works together. I've heard a lot of the grads talk about cohorts and the kind of work that they live with each other, support they have, supporting each other. There was always appreciation of how they have worked with each other, or the support of the staff of the UVic. We've always had, like I mentioned, the witnesses that are called upon, taking this kind of event back home to your community. So these witnesses are going to be asked to come forward and to share some of their feelings about the event or something to the grads. So all those witnesses, can you come forward? Take the phone down.
Hello, test. Is it working? No?
Oh, okay. You going? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Hello, test, test. Can you hear me?
Guess I have to talk about it.
Like, well, yeah, I know. Well, first of all, thank you for having us here. It's an honor to be here for my wife and I. I've said this before, you weren't even supposed to be here. None of us were. We were supposed to be on reservations and stay there, not leave, ever. Not get an education, lot of generations before you couldn't get an education. Sometimes it's because of what happened to them. Sometimes it's because, these things happen when you weren't allowed to. Try it again. Is it working? No. Anyhow. Not loud again. You're not supposed to be here. None of us were supposed to be surviving. We were a problem for a long time for the colonial people who came here. We were in the way of their resources that they wanted, our trees, our fish, everything. So our forefathers had this plan for you to be here. They had always thought about the future. We weren't. A lot of us were in schools and institutions, and we didn't plan for the future. We just wanted to survive. A lot of us were lucky enough to survive. And my wife will tell you, when she was in residential school, when she was 14, they turned her out. She had nothing. She didn't have she just had clothes on her back. Now it's working. Just had the clothes on her back, no education. She knew how to clean doorknobs and wash dishes and scrub floors, and that was it. And that's all they wanted us to know. So for you to step forward and come and do this, do what you've done, sacrifice, and the people who love you sacrifice too. It's an amazing thing that you have done. You should be very proud, because all of our forefathers are watching. The people who were on this land long before any of us are watching you now, and they're smiling. I'm very proud of you. So be proud. You've done a great job.
That's what we know.
I'm really not much of a speaker, but I want to thank the host for acknowledging me as a host, and thank the students for taking this huge step in life to represent not only yourself, but surrounding communities. Very comforting knowing that we have people like you that want to make a difference in life for us and the surrounding communities. Like I said, I don't know the words, but again, thank you guys for doing what you're doing.
We'll see you tomorrow.
I want to begin by thanking the host family for calling me to be a witness. It's an honor to be a witness this evening, and I get to go home and tell my family the way witnesses are, that they followed Co-Sailors protocol, that they did the work the right way, and that's what we're supposed to do as witnesses. And that no shortcuts were taken. If dear Elder Skip Dick was here tonight, he would remind us, never take shortcuts. Take the time it takes to get the work done properly, and you did that. So thank you to the host family for the good work. I have to do one shout out to my steep one, Caitlin. So proud of you, girl. What I witnessed tonight was a cohort that sounds to me an awful lot like a family, that sounds like a really, really solid group of family and friends. I witnessed you sharing your teachings, which means that those teachings have become a way of who and what you are, and that you've taken those learnings and you've moved them from your head to your heart. Because we can't do this kind of work in our head. It's got to come from our heart. When you get tired and when you get weary, I want you to remember some words that I heard you say tonight. I heard pride, bold, fortunate. I heard thankfulness. I heard powerhouse, resiliency, love, grateful, honor, humbled, gifted, generosity, rewarding, inspired, excited, and transformative. Those are the words that are going to carry you through as long as you need to go forward. I heard someone say that they have an opportunity to change the legal landscape of this nation. And I really want to encourage you all to be bold and to do good things and to do the right thing. And I will go home and I will remember this evening, and I will remember each of you. And if people ask years from now what I witnessed, I have your names on a piece of paper, and I've written some words that you shared, and I will carry that because that's the role of a witness. And I'm honored to have been asked to witness your event tonight, and congratulations.
Wabanekwe, Senator McCallum.
Thank you to everyone. Wabanekwe Mansnigasun, Nida Usquilniga, Northern Manitoba Ote. Quesne medidi tino tagapi tutian, the piwa pamitago, kinanas kumitnawo. My name is Wabanekwe Mary Jane. I'm a Cree woman from Northern Manitoba, and I'm very honored to be here, to be invited here and to speak to and celebrate this moment with you. I wanted to start by when you were drummed in. And drumming is something that's universal. It's a universal sacred symbol for all our nations across Canada. So it's something we relate to. And when we drum at home, we're calling our ancestors. So when you were drummed in, our ancestors followed. And they're here with us right now celebrating. And your white robes are so important. When we had to go underground, whether it was with medicines, whether it was with our legal orders, our ancestors had to lay them down because it wasn't safe for them. So the young come and they pick that sacred bundle up, whether it's in medicine, and for you, it's with your legal orders. So you have and that's why the color white is so important, because you're no longer hiding. You're out in the open, and you're ready to fly. In that sacred bundle, you carry with you, and what I'm going to bring is what I have heard you speak on. You carry in your bundle respect, and you did that by thanking your host community, your families, and by modeling your parents, the hard work that they do, because that's how we carry traditions and life skills with us. There is reciprocity, and it's thanking those who have guided you and supported you. And there was the word obligation that was there. There's relevance, and it's learning from your teachers, carrying it forward into the world for transformative change. There's humility, because there were tears. There's gratitude, knowledge. You talked about lifelong learning, and that you are so unique in the world. You're the first to carry your destiny forward. There's wisdom in your words. There's courage. You carry forward these Indigenous legal orders as no one has traveled this road before. You will be the first ones. And then you talked about tomorrow. You seeing value in others, students, and as well as teachers. And you pick up with that sacred bundle ancient knowledge from your ancestral blood memory that comes from where your teachers took you, from the land. You learned from the land, our relatives, the trees. You talked about the plants. And love, you carry love in there as well, because you are going to love boldly. Sober second thought, with all the reflections that you shared with us tonight. Seeing value in others. You can only see what you yourself carry. So everything that you talked about and thanked, you have it in you. Dreams, that you carry the dreams. And I wanted to just mention when Dr. Napoleon said, you need to share your dreams. And so dreams can be scary. So when she said that, there's a saying that says, what if I fail? And the answer is, my darling, what if you fly? And Dr. Napoleon and Dr. Burroughs have shown that you can fly, because they have made their dreams come true. And acknowledgement of your living ancestors, the people in this room, your parents, as well as our ancestors of those who have gone on. And that you have upheld your role as being a guest by respecting your host throughout this evening. And I also wanted to thank the hosts that are here for what they have made happen tonight. So go boldly
And you know, I just am amazed to see this. Thank you.
Wabanekwe, she was talking about the blankets. I think all across Canada, First Nations that ever do any kind of ceremony, there's always blankets a part of any ceremony. A lot of our blankets where the graduates are they're standing on blankets. Way back in the days, it used to be on dirt ground. So that one on the floor is for their protection, for their spirit, and the ones that they're wearing. They've done a lot of work from their heart. It keeps their heart warm, and it keeps their heart strong. Same as what I'm wearing. Because my dad used to wear this kind of blanket and a headband. Because every time I do this kind of thing now, I believe we were talking about ancestors being here when your drums were coming in. And every time I do this now, it's like my dad standing right next to me, kind of guiding me as I have to go through whatever cultural part. So that's your blankets, a lot of your ancestors will be with you and help you whenever you're needed. So again, with that, I'll turn it back to Val. One more. You guys can go sit down now.
What I hope for everyone here is that we leave with the power of gratitude and hope in our hearts and in our minds. Thank you so much for all of this. We're going to take a brief intermission before we return to the final part of our evening program. And we're going to hear from some of the supporters who've helped us get here, including from our JID director and a few of the students. One of the people who isn't here but who has supported and helped this program is Glenn Williams, Mali. And when Mali was in one of our classes, he talked about his grandfather, Lelt. He said that Lelt talked about a tiny light, which was what people had at a dark point in history. But what they were able to do with that tiny light is have it for guidance. And what Glenn Mali said in the class is that this program is now that light, and it's growing and it's getting brighter. So hold that in your heart. So there is a dessert table in the lobby, so please help yourself. And so this is the little reception. Stretch your legs and come back, and we'll finish up the last part of the program. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Val, and I too want to acknowledge that we're gathered for this truly inspiring celebration on the traditional territory of the Lekwungen-speaking peoples, and here with our host community, the Songhees, and the neighbors, the Esquimalt and the Wasanich. I want to thank Maggie, Charlie for welcoming us, and Elder La Fortune for the prayer. But I think Auntie May and for the opening of the meal and the closing and that beautiful song from a truly beautiful soul. We will never forget it. And thank you. Help me with that. Hayeshcha. Was that even close? Yeah. But I just want to say that we've heard tonight that with the drum and with all of the support, that I do think that the ancestors are with us, and I do think they're smiling, as people have said, and I think that they see all of you in your amazing blanketed ceremony to know that this is a time of transformation. And as Vice President Thomas said, I think they are saying it's about time. And I think that it does feel like a first. It feels like that as you go forward into this transformation of increasing the understanding and the importance of Indigenous legal orders in how we will make good decisions for our country and for your communities. It is, I think, a heartfelt congratulations, maybe even yippee to Val and John, whose vision and values and leadership and huge hard work have brought us to this day. And I think that all of us want to express huge gratitude to the hard work that we heard from the statements of the students and the graduates, that this is hard work, and being in community where you were so grateful to what you learned on the land and with community, that this is a big day for Canada, but it's a big day for the world, is what I think we're hearing today in this day of first. I think that the scholarly work that you have already contributed to understanding in Canada, the research that you've been doing that now gets written down, and that as we say, once you know the truth, you can't unknow the truth. And the ways that decisions were taken, that what we heard about what is good governance, how do citizens know they've been heard, and how did people take difficult decisions over the millennia? And that, I think, is what's so exciting for tonight. So on behalf of the Prime Minister and Minister Lametti, the whole country wishes you huge success, and thanks your family and friends and your faculty. It's a big deal, I think, is what I keep sort of reading and feeling, and that it is as that paddling song, and you think of the canoe, and when you hear the love and respect that each of the students had for one another this evening, you've been in the same canoe, but I think we all know that as you get out and into your own canoes, that we know your names. We're going to watch you, and we can't wait to find out the new truths that you're going to find and the new contributions that you are going to make as you go boldly forth, as we've heard, on the standards and principles and criteria that you now know, and that you will help us. And I think Dr. Burrows and Dr. Napoleon we've wished, and we think That one day, some of you will be, in the Justice Department drafting Canadian law. That will be based on civil law and common law and your Indigenous legal orders. That's what tonight means to me, is that we will go forward in a way better way. Because, as we've heard, that you are stitching together the gaps, as we've heard, but you're also going to build a richness that has not been here in our country for far too long. So I just am so grateful that as we move forward into this reality of legal pluralism, as we move forward into a way of seeing things in the kind of now settler learnings, that we will be able to figure out how to do things better, how to do things differently, but with that real understanding of how you take decisions with community. How do you find out what consensus really is? How do you take decisions that are the best for the most people, or the people who need it most? How do we make that a sense of justice and social justice? And so I just am here to say thank you, merci, miigwech, hayachka.
Thank you so much, Minister Bennett. I'd like to introduce Minister Lametti and Anne Kang. And they have a presentation with a very short video, which will be shown on the screens up here. And so I think it's ready to go.
Greetings from my office in Ottawa, on the traditional territory of the Algonquin Anishinaabe Nation. Congratulations to you, the first graduating class of the UVic Joint Degree Program in Canadian Common Law and Indigenous Legal Orders. This is a really important moment, one that I am truly honored to help acknowledge. I remember when I finished law school, there was a huge feeling of accomplishment, some apprehension about what would come next, but I was anxious to take on the future. I imagine that you have a similar mix of feelings. But I always hope you remember something more. You are a first. The first class of a new and innovative dual degree program whose graduates will help change the face of the law in our country. Oh, and you did it during a global pandemic, as if the first wasn't difficult enough. This is a testament to your determination and your resilience, and most certainly foretells your future success. The history you are making is embodied in the initials you will have on your professional signatures going forward from this day: Juris Doctor and Juris Indigenorum Doctor. Your studies were unique, a mix of traditional law courses and hands-on learning. You have worked directly with Indigenous communities and experienced land-based forms of learning. You have developed a deep understanding of the relationship between Canadian common law and Indigenous legal traditions, processes, and practices. I hope your time in this program has instilled within you a desire to use your talents to help build a justice system that is inclusive, one grounded in legal pluralism, cultural respect and dignity, and that integrates Indigenous traditions and knowledge. These are weighty expectations, but I suspect this is why you chose this program in the first place. No matter your chosen path, within your communities or perhaps in the public service, you will surely contribute to building a better country, one that offers hope, healing, and opportunity for Indigenous and non-Indigenous people alike. I will be blunt. You have a unique legal education, a unique privilege, and it is your responsibility to lead, whether now or later. I will follow your individual and collective contributions with great interest. You embody the promise and potential of reconciliation. Congratulations again to each and every one of you. And my thanks to everyone who is part of this great program at UVic, and especially to Val Napoleon and John Burrows for your vision and ambition. Our government is proud to have supported the development of this groundbreaking program that will continue to contribute greatly to revitalizing Indigenous legal traditions in our country. Hitchkasiyam, thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to acknowledge that I'm speaking to you from the territory of the Lekwungen-speaking people, the Songhees and Esquimalt First Nations. Senators, ministers, mayors, elders, chiefs, and faculty graduates, thank you for inviting me to join you today. While I'm unable to join in person, I am honored to congratulate you virtually and look forward to being with you all in person in the near future. You have worked incredibly hard to get here, and I hope you take a moment to allow the full weight of what you've accomplished to set in. Each of you are setting an exceptional example to the generation of legal scholars who follow. And each of you who have passed this important milestone today will help our society move closer towards meaningful reconciliation. This is the inaugural graduating class of a truly inspirational and transformative program. This program is the first of its kind in the world and the only place in Canada where you can study Indigenous law alongside common law. Our government made a commitment to true and lasting reconciliation with Indigenous peoples. In October 2019, our government supported the Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples Act, another first of its kind in the world. What we are seeing today is reconciliation in action by supporting Indigenous education and engaging young people in learning about Indigenous law. Now the question is, what are you going to do with your degree? Regardless of whether you go into private practice, the corporate world, or join the public service, you are now well on your way to becoming a lawyer. You have a unique opportunity to foster change and justice in this world and to help those whose voices have been silenced. I urge you, wherever you go, remember that you are trailblazers and are coming into the legal profession at a time where you can create meaningful change towards reconciliation. Be bold, take risks, stand up for those who have not seen themselves represented in the legal system. I know that the last 2 years have been difficult on students. I commend you for your dedication to your education. I know that you will take what you learned here and accomplish remarkable things. Thank you for making this world more just, for letting me share this time with you, and congratulations to you, the graduating class faculty and the University of Victoria, for this amazing milestone. Thank you, everyone.
So the last part of our program, part 4, we're looking at program and student impact and looking ahead. And I'd like to invite Dr. David Millward, the director of the JID, to join us up here. And he's going to take us through with the student introductions and remarks. And as he comes up, I'd like to tell you about the cedar roses on your table. These were made yesterday by students, faculty, and staff at the law school. And you're invited to take a cedar rose with you, but you cannot take the candles or the driftwood. I don't know if anyone heard, Charlotte, you can also take the greenery with the cedar roses.
Okay. Welcome, everyone. So it is a pleasure and an honor to be here tonight. And I guess I'll start with, certainly this is a program that hopes and aspires to produce some real change in the world. Now, on some level, it can seem like, well, will our graduates just be kind of wrapped up in the usual justice system or the usual legal system? But I would suggest it's not necessarily. In fact, what we're hoping for is that it could come about in a myriad of ways. So one is, sometimes, sure, you're representing an Indigenous client within the standard legal system, but sometimes just that awareness of what's important to an Indigenous client and how to get a resolution or get a solution for the Indigenous client in a way that's more meaningful to that person. And it's not necessarily the same as what a non-Indigenous client would want or need either. Sometimes there's value in that, and it can make a ripple into the mainstream system that's not always apparent or visible. But at the same time, and I won't bore anyone with the details, but cracks are starting to manifest in the Canadian legal system where Canadian authorities are actually willing to listen and hear and even start to change their laws to make room for the operation of Indigenous legal orders. And it'll be up to our graduates to start to widen those cracks. So at the same time, certainly we do hope to affect change, but you can't all of a sudden just get where you want overnight. It's a process and it takes time, but to start that, well, you need to start. So what kind of start have we made with our first cohort? Well, I'll let our first cohort in on a little bit of a secret. If you were nervous about how the program's going to be or what it was going to be like or how classes were going to be, your professors were nervous too, about it too. I mean, sure, we taught first-year courses in a certain way, and we had a certain familiarity with standard property law, or constitutional law, or criminal law, or contract cases, but we were being invited to engage in some quite experimental pedagogies and to try and teach areas of law that we were familiar with alongside areas of Indigenous legal. On some level, we were aware of the content, but this was a learning process for us too. So certainly I was nervous about it, and I feel fairly confident speaking on behalf of my colleagues. They were likely had a degree of nervousness as well. But then a certain dynamic started to manifest, and that is, well, the way that class often went, I would liken it to putting popcorn in the microwave, and the kernels and everything start to fly around, except it doesn't stop popping. It just keeps going and keeps going and it keeps going. So when we got to our classroom discussions and everything else, it was like the students and myself were just engulfed in this massive energy where we bouncing ideas and questions and discussions and considerations of the important Indigenous legal issues of the day, and sometimes we just couldn't stop. Now, when I used to teach a standard criminal law course, it used to be I'd end it 15 minutes before the official stop time. And part of that was to give students time to make it to their next class. But sometimes it was just an assumption on my part that it would be a rare student who would actually be enthusiastic about staying past 15 minutes prior to the official end time. Well, the way the class played out was that sometimes we went right to the end time, and sometimes we even went 10 or 15 minutes beyond because we just couldn't stop. That popcorn crackling just kept going, and that energy just kept going and replenishing itself, and we sometimes just didn't know when to stop, and sometimes we had to stop and when we didn't want to. And I'm sure the students have heard me say this before, and I hope they take it as a compliment when I say it again. There was a point where, in some respects, on subconscious level, I stopped regarding going to class as actually amounting to work. It was that class became something that I looked forward to. And so, like I said, it didn't feel like work anymore. And that's a huge compliment to our first cohort. And it's an energy that I felt in subsequent cohorts, but I do think that the first cohort meant more in special mention in that regard. So like I said, our hope to affect change in the world, it needed to start. It can't happen overnight. But based on what I've said, well, this first court, this was as good a start to the program as we could possibly have hoped for. Now, I'll say a few more things. One is for the family members of the first court, you go home and be proud of your be proud of your loved ones who have participated in this program. They deserve every ounce of praise that has come their way. Also, for the last little message for you as students, something that we did once a year together, hockey night at the Shark Club. When you're out in your career, certainly you need to work hard to be ambassadors on behalf of the program, and sometimes you will be drinking that coffee and staying up late at night to get the work done. But it doesn't have to be hockey, or it doesn't have to be a tavern. Whether it's amongst yourselves or with your friends or with your family members, always grab those moments to at least enjoy yourself once in a while. When you look after yourselves, when you take care of your work balance, life is just better that way, but it also puts you in a better position to do the things that you wanted to do when you first joined this program. Thank you. Okay, so we do have some students who are prepared for remarks, and I'd like to ask them to come up now. So let's welcome first Caitlin Lafontaine. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Caitlin Lafontaine Haight. I'm a member of Métis Nation BC and the Kelowna Métis Association. I wanted to first thank the Songhees Nation for hosting us here tonight on their territory, and to everyone who's here with us to celebrate. At the beginning of our law degree, I immediately felt a sense of familiarity and connection to the people around me. For example, the night before our first day of law school, our cohort met at Dr. Val Napoleon's house. After introducing myself, Caitlin Beale and I made the connection that I had just had lunch with her aunt the week before. And then I met Cody, and it turns out he grew up down the street from my husband's cousins. And then I met Kayla, and she was good friends with a recent colleague of mine. So it was then I realized how connected the Indigenous world is and was going to be. Early on, I learned that I was the youngest person in the cohort, and that those around me brought vast life and work experience to our space that I could learn from. I recognized my role was to listen and learn first before speaking. Tonight, I want to share what I've heard and learned from those around me for the last 4 years. I was listening on the first day of law school when our legal process group hiked to Bakulse, and I was lucky enough to have Dr. Sarah Morales as my hike leader. After it became very clear that we had gone the wrong way and we were lost on the side of the mountain, Sarah said to us in a joking way, "It's not always about the destination, but instead about the journey." This is true enough. We have been taught that revitalizing Indigenous law will take time. And to do this work in a good way, we must recognize that it's a marathon, not a sprint. I was listening when Dr. John Burroughs shared about the Anishinaabe concept of time, that time aligns when the land, the birds, and the space harmonize, that everything happens when it's supposed to. He went on to share that each of us were chosen for a reason to be here in this program. I know that for many people in my cohort, timing was everything and how this program aligned with our paths. I also know that the idea of this Indigenous law program started the year I was born, so talk about everything happening for a reason. I was listening when we were taught that Indigenous law is not a circle peg attempting to fit into a square hole, but instead a separate and independent legal stream that must live alongside the main common law. This program has and will continue to create a space for Indigenous law within the legal landscape, and we as future legal actors must fight the good fight to continue to carve this space open. I was also listening when we made mistakes, and our professors strictly yet gracefully corrected us. While demonstrating the practice of Indigenous law, they held us accountable and allowed us to grow and learn through our mistakes. Our professors guided us beyond the classroom and truly practiced what they preached. Finally, I was listening when a guest speaker told us the importance of our program being represented across the legal arena. They said that little changes everywhere will make a big impact. As of now, our JID cohort will be representing our UVic Indigenous Law program in private firms across the country who are representing Indigenous nations, within the BC government and Crown Prosecution and Legal Services branch, in nonprofits, clerkships, and legal clinics. I want to end by thanking everyone who made this program happen, as there is now a space in law school for Indigenous students' voices to be heard and for Indigenous law to grow. Thank you.
Thank you, Caitlin. Next, I'll welcome up Shauna Smith.
Thank you, David, for the introduction. My name is Shauna Smith. I'm a settler of mixed Western European ancestry, and I grew up on a small farm. My parents over there recording me. A small farm in Aamjiwnaang Territory near Sarnia in southern Ontario. I was asked to speak about what the program has meant to me, and it's important to acknowledge that I'm speaking very specifically from the positionality of a settler who grew up not learning Indigenous legal orders. I think my colleagues would agree that it's very difficult to capture in a few minutes the complexity of experiences we had together, because he honestly kind of had to be there. What I will say, though, is that this path we have stepped into of engaging with Indigenous legal orders has left me in awe on a daily basis, with the feeling and knowledge that Indigenous law is everywhere. Indigenous laws are in song, dance, and ceremony in Indigenous languages, stories, both written and communicated through oral tradition. It is learned on and from the land and waters. It is learned and lived through the relationship between human beings and other beings like cedar trees, bears, deer. Indigenous law guides the ceremony that was conducted today. As a settler, I did not grow up with this understanding, and now with the guidance of our Indigenous professors, my colleagues, and teachers, I cannot unsee it. We have learned this not just intellectually, but our professors and teachers in community-centered experiential opportunities, allowing us to embody and experience these places where law can be learned in action. I will never forget standing in first year behind the school with Professor John Burroughs as he shared songs and stories with us as the campus deer munched away in the background. I will never forget spending time with George Seymour and Professor Sarah Morales as we learned Ho'okaminam language and law, filling the Zoom room with joy, even during the deep days of COVID isolation. In my heart is the experience in Kwaggle territory when a few colleagues and I learned to clam dig, I'm still sore, helping Chief Knox just a wee bit prepare for a feast that is happening right now as we speak in the big house in Songhees. We also had many opportunities to explore our creative sides and experiment with diverse arts-based ways of storytelling. With my colleagues, I wrote a radio play, shout out to those writers, grappling with law of business associations. The vulnerability and care these creative colleagues stepped into was nothing short of healing and profound. These spaces that were supported by the incredible professors of law, all scattered around this room, made better by the wisdom of my colleagues, allowed me to see and feel that Indigenous law is everywhere. It has not just been a mind-blowing experience up here, it has catalyzed a shift in my heart, body, and spirit. The teachings learned guide the way I conduct myself in relationship to humans and all other beings and this land where I have been an uninvited guest. Thank you to all the families and friends and communities of myself and my colleagues who have supported us on this truly wild ride when we were actually thrown into the deep end. It has been some of the hardest and best years of my life. And I know that my colleagues resonate with that statement. The true impact of this program, as it's been acknowledged today, is currently unknown, but what I do know is that I'm genuinely in love with every single person in this little weird family we have of the first graduating class. I can't wait to continue to be part of this future of endless possibilities alongside each of you. Thank you.
I would also like to invite Chief Eugene Hart to come up and offer a few words.
Gway, everyone. Would like to congratulate everybody that's from this 2022 class. We flew all the way from Labrador to get to Jolene's graduation. I'm very honored to be here today and very excited to have our first Innu lawyer that I'm proud to say of today standing here. And Jodi's background, I know her politics is really big in her late dad. He represented us before with the nation of the Deputy Grand Chief. And I don't know, I'm stoked for words. I'm just trying to let this digest how a young girl from Labrador, Innu of Labrador, is standing here today to witness such honorable remarks for our community. And I like to thank everybody that's kept Jodi on her feet out here, and I'm sure they all had their good days and bad days, but today is a very honorable day for Jolene to graduate here. And also the first Innu Kaimas Quo. That's the first Innu lawyer in Innu for a female. And her family's watching live here now. Some of them can't be here due to different stuff that's coming up, but I'm very happy to be here for Jolene and her spouse, Josh, and Marianne, our Deputy Grand Chief from the First Nations, because where we're from, we have two reserves. It's the Innu Reserve in Labrador. We are a population of 2,000, and Marianne's in Natwashish, an isolated area. I don't know that to be over 1,000 population. So there's not only one community that's proud today, there's two communities that's actually proud. And also, Jolene has a lot of family across the river from our reserve where her mom is from, and I'm sure everybody from that community is proud of her as well. And I think what we're going to do here tonight for Jolene, in memory, just not to forget the night, is a milestone that we're going to bring back to our community. And the OKT and the university that supported Jolene to get through this program, we're very honored. And it took us 2 days to get here, but we're here. And I was thinking flying in from BC, my God, Jodi came home during COVID. We had a lockdown, and I don't know, there's mysterious way you can do once you follow your heart, you can do it. And I had a chance to meet with some of Jolene's classmates. I'm very honored to meet them as well. And this song I'm going to play here for Jolene is we play this at every event that we have in a community. It could be a community feast or just a get-together in our community. And the singer is my brother, David Hart. It's called Traditional Song. And I always remember in my heart one of my late council that passed away, Mary Jane Newey, a few years ago, which is the Deputy Grand Chief's aunt. She was on council for like 20 years, and she passed away a few years ago. This was her favorite song as a leader. And Jolene used to be on council years ago, and was like more like a female version of a grandmother song to respect the elder, and a leader. And then I always look at her as a leader, and she'll always be a leader in my books. So I'm so honored to be here today and to say we actually have an Innu lawyer. And this is a strong message that we're going to bring back to our community, because our graduating class is very high back on our reserve. And this is going to be like a role model for her to bring back to our community. Like, no matter what the struggles the community have, we can still go ahead and see the future of our community. And now our futures, one of them is here, that's going to be coming up on this stage. And I'm so honored in my heart. I'm just like a little bit nervous because I'm so excited. And but I'm happy for Jolene, and I'm happy for the support that we offered her in the past and to get through her program. And I'm sure there's a lot of organizations that helped her get through this. So this song that we're going to be playing now, it's for Jolene and her family. And Marianne, I don't know, did you see her husband? She's what? Mm-hmm. Oh, Marianne's just going to say a few words. I'm only giving her 1 minute.
To this comment now. Sorry, I wasn't prepared for this. I was just sitting over there taking the video, and then I'm like, go on the stage. My name is Marianne Newey. I was elected as a Deputy Grand Chief of Innu Nation. We do have a Grand Chief that couldn't make it. He apologized for not attending, Jolene, and but I wouldn't miss this for Jolene, because I knew his father, and his father was a very well known in our nation, and his father was a very activist. He was a very good advocate for our nation. So apparently Danielle Lashini passed away a few years ago actually. So I was sitting over there, and I'm like thinking Daniel would have been so proud of his daughter, and I work with Jolene's sister, which is Jody, and she's very proud. She's been we've been texting back and forth trying to figure out like which graduation is she going to be in. I'm like, apparently we're in a different places now, and yeah, it's a good. I'm happy to be here, and I wrote a note to Jolene. You know, I'm so proud for you to be. I'm so proud to experience this. I know your dad would have been very happy for you, and I'm pretty sure his spirit is right here with us and watching you celebrate your day. And I'm happy for Jolene, and I'm so tired. It's like 2:00 in the morning where I'm from. I can't remember the last time when I used to stay out that late, but but I wouldn't miss this for the world. Thank you for having us.
So I'm going to say a few words about Jolene specifically. It's not to say that we don't value our other members of the court. Every member of the court has their own value and brings their own talents and worth to the program, and I am confident we'll be good ambassadors who will do the program proud in the years to come. But I just wish to point out that we've been picking on Jolene this year because, well, she's She did a public education seminar for us in front of the Victoria Foundation, and she's also done promotional videos for us to try and promote the program to other prospective students. And now we're having to go to her again for remarks about the program, so I hope someday Jolene will find it in her heart to forgive us for picking on her so many times. But please welcome Jolene Nassini.
So our Innu lawyer will be leading this dance. We'll show you how we do it back home. So you can follow us if you want. You're more than welcome to join.
I'm sorry, I did not ask for that, but here we are. My name is Jolene Ashney. I'm a member of the JID Innu First Nation. And I was asked to say something about my experience at this program. But as I stand here looking out at all the families, dignitaries, faculty, friends, staff, donors, but most importantly, my cohort. Right now, the path of my experience feels neither profound nor unique. As the first cohort, we shared experiences, achievements, and struggles, but we did this together. I know that my classmates and I will remember the names of those who gave us important teachings throughout these 4 years. We will carry you all into our futures as we build them and continue our paths of learning. Again, as I look out into this room, I see a lot of honored and important guests. We are grateful to share this space with you. However, I think there are important names that you, our honored guests, and important guests should be aware of. Caitlin Beale, Carolyn Bellew, Bethany Fox, Samuel Geistifer, Elizabeth Hegg Turner, Thomas Hathornthwaite, Kayla Heath, Navjot Jasar, Caitlin LaFontaine-Haight, Skeena Lawson, Colby Lizotte, Betty Ann Marcoux, Kelty McCarricker, Kelsey McNeil, Heather Middlemass, Jacqueline Miller, Katie Mizak, Brendan Noyes, Cody O'Neill, Amanda Vick, Shauna Smith, Amanda Vick, and Andrea Vogel. These are the people that you should remember. These are the names that you should be watching out for as we part our ways from this program and build our respective futures. Our cohort comes from different places, territories, and backgrounds, but we applied to this program for the same reason: to make a difference in Canada or perhaps even the world's legal system. In 2008, our paths converged, and after 4 years, I have to say it has been such an honor to walk this path with you. It has been it's been one of my life's great privileges. Together, we are the future of Aboriginal and Indigenous law. Jinishkamitno.
So we're at the end of a glorious evening. Thank you all for coming to share this time with us. And if you haven't had a chance already, please write a message or remarks on the cards on your tables, drop them in the box near the door. And beside that box, you'll find some amazing necklaces made by our very own Rebecca Johnson. Those are gifts for you. She made enough for everybody here, so please take one with you. And there's also a photo booth that's open if you'd like to remember the night with additional photos. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and thank you so much for coming here and sharing this time. And one last thing, because there's always a last thing. Thank you to IAs who provided the blankets and generously provided to help us make this night happen. Thank you to all of the folks from IAs.